Welcome to the Scrapyard. I'm your host, BC.
Solo Jones.
Flaming Bees.
And I'm TFA 1024, the TF Addict.
Before we continue, hey, Bees, this is your fault.
Ooh, what are you eating? What are you eating?
A Chipotle burrito.
Is this the snacking section of the stream?
I got a chicken sandwich with a slice of Gouda, some red onions, and spicy ketchup from Whataburger. Those of you who live in the South know what that place is, and onion rings.
Very nice.
I had DiGiorno stuffed crust pepperoni pizza.
I haven't had DiGiorno in a hot
But
minute.
are
Anyway,
you
we're not
eating
this ain't the
on
Food Channel.
camera?
But anyway, yeah, this ain't the Food Network, so
This
Anyway,
Gordon Ramsay just comes out of nowhere.
and yes, I'm washing down my cheesy fries with a glass of Mountain Dew.
Anyway, so
My
Or,
dude, the
moving on from
drink
all the
of-
jokes, the topic of the week is the class system and how it has changed. But before we
yes.
do that, as you all know, we got the big appreciation of the week.
woohoo!
So, who's
But
who's-
with that being stated, now we're kind of in a predicament here. Because normally, we don't have two guests at the same time.
Wait, what?
Because there's only two lead guys here. You two count solely as the guests, so now we got to figure out which of you two are going to go first.
eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch
Rock,
a
paper,
tiger
scissors.
by the...
Jokes on me
Okay.
while I threw rock.
I'll do eeny, meeny, miny,
you
mo,
just couldn't
catch a
see-
tiger.
Just
Oh,
couldn't
he's
see.
the rock? Okay, he goes first.
Wait, no, Bees, take over. I don't want to go first.
Okay, gladly.
I'm not ready.
What do you
Yeah,
mean you're
but if
not
you go
ready?
I mean, I'm not
Yeah, but if
ready.
you-
I got too many figures this week.
Just pick the
If
one
he-
that I
if he-
sent you.
I mean, I could do that.
Ippy dippy, my spaceshipy on a course so true. Past Pluto's moon and Neptune's in the one I choose is you.
Give him some time. Go ahead, Bees.
Okay, my
Sorry.
figure appreciation is the Takara Tomy Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal.
I hear that thing's fantastic.
He is. I freaking love it. God, like, this is like, if we got this in the States, like, just as a mass retail release, God, like, I think this would have been classified as a commander class, but I miss the gimmicks, like the flip out cannons, they're like flick fire or whatever missiles and all that, but God, I miss gimmicky toys. I miss toys being this size and not costing like 89 bucks or whatever, but God, I love this figure so much.
Oh, he's still in stock.
Oh yeah, he's in stock on BBTS. That's where I got him from. Not sponsored.
I'm
Yep.
definitely looking forward to the Studio Series one, and I am so glad it's going to scale properly with the
Oh,
Rise of Beast Prime.
real quick. One thing I was thinking about: Ape Link in the movie in Rise of the Beast was noticeably taller than Primal. So my question is, do you think they would retool this into Ape Link and release it
No.
in the Studio Series?
No.
No,
No.
no.
Darn.
All right,
It's-
Michael, you ready? I am so sorry. TFA, you ready?
Oh no! Everybody knows his first
Again.
name now.
Again. Oh no, name reveal.
Oh no! You must disappear.
Hang on. Look at my hand for a minute. That's my figure.
Look at my hand.
How do I? Oh, right. Okay, so I'm on my bed because I'm comfortable. So bear with me. Got my little area right here. I have a couple. Can I do some just minor nominees, like honorable mentions?
It's got to be one.
I can't do
Just
an
the one.
honorable mention. Like, hey, I got. All right.
Sorry, them's the rules, kid.
What do you call a kid? I'm a grown ass man child, sir.
At least you're honest.
Rather be honest than lie. Yeah, screw it. I'll just say it. Thank you to that beautiful man who just went before me. You can't see shit. There we go. Hold on.
Can we at least... there we go. Lighting.
Yeah. Rise of the Beast Studio Series Buzzworthy Prime. I owe a massive thank you to Flaming Bees. This wonderful man went to his local Target. We had a thing worked out, first of all, where he ordered 2 off of Target, and he was going to sell me 1. But then he went to his Target because I was looking for the Buzzworthy Bumblebee 3-pack with Mirage, Air Razor, and Bumblebee.
The Jungle Machine.
I don't trust my local Targets. Let me just say that right now. I say that. My local Target ended up getting him, but immediately sold him.
Oh.
So, Bees backed me up, and I appreciate it very much. And this thing is spectacular. Even with the truck mode, like, honestly, a lot of people are like, oh, that's ugly. That's accurate. Like, that truck bed near the back, that's accurate. This is ugly, sure, but, like, it's not that bad. It's a great Optimus. I love this thing.
All right, Solo, you're up.
So, I gotta say, TFA, for starting us off with the Prime Club, I'm gonna be joining him with Transformers on Course, CO1 Convoy. This is the encore reissue of G1 Optimus Prime, released in 2008, I believe it was. Some changes. We actually have the full stacks. Tamper-graphed Autobot emblems on the shoulders rather than stickers because, you know, those Autobot emblems were all often missing. The other thing is 1992 G2 trailer. I don't know if you can actually see that printed about here.
There's too much of a glare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we believe you.
And Silver Roller. Unlike the blue roller of the original toy. So we can obviously tell that this is a mix of G1 and Diaclone.
Oh, that's just Prime.
God damn it, Bees. You know Bees.
Okay, we're gonna get rough. Let me set my food down.
Hang on, BC,
You're a
you
nice
might want
That sounded suggestive.
You're a nice person.
Why, thank you.
Can I just say,
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just hear. Let me put my. If we're gonna get rough, let me put my food down. That sounds suggestive as fuck.
Oh my God. Well, now that you mention it,
Can I just say though, DC, before you start, can I just say we just had a moment of contractually mandated BC niceness.
Oh my God, and it's documented.
Oh, but you guys need to understand. This means I get to be mean the rest of the episode.
oh God, that's what you did.
We have to have at least one moment of niceness
Well,
from
if you
BC
excuse
per
me, I'll be hiding
episode.
in my shelter.
All right, so hey, all right. My figure appreciation of the week. Now, I've been sitting here thinking about what I was going to do this week. And one figure just kept standing out on my shelf for whatever reason. Because when I initially threw him up there, I just kind of threw him up there just to see how just because, you know, I got it and it's supposed to fill a slot. So it really wasn't supposed to mean much of anything. Well, ever since the birth of my son, he was one of the figures I decided to take with me. And this is the one I found myself futzing with the most. And I've grown to have a whole new figure appreciation for SS86 Iron-Eye.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
This is a toy that does so much with so little. He basically is Deluxe Plus done right. this is a fan-fucking-tastic toy. And this definitely goes to show how much things have changed for me as far as my collecting journey goes. Because I originally absolutely despised this. And now I'm singing its praises because it does. You know what? No, I'm going to rip the band-aid off. I'm going to say it. This is everything the masterpiece should have been.
Oh,
That is a
There.
bold
I
claim.
said it.
That's a bold claim.
Ooh,
It's a bold
that is-
claim, but I ask you this. Am I wrong?
I mean, I wouldn't know. I don't have the masterpiece, but from what I've seen, I can't really argue.
He's fine. He's not here right now. I'm not going to go into all the details with it right now, but just know he's fine. He's healthy, and the wife has been sending me plenty of pictures. Just there's a lot going on in the background about it that I'm not comfortable talking about it here. Just know he's healthy. He's okay. And if you want to see him at any given point, let me know, and we'll set up a Skype call so you can see him.
good.
Also,
That's good to know.
Also, real quick,
That's good.
TF fan page. If you're still watching, I don't know if you just hopped off, but anyway, I watched. I remembered your review of the Transformers the movie, and while I watched it while I was at work today, that is, I think that's the first video of yours that I've watched on your YouTube channel, and I'm like, okay.
So that
Hi,
being
Brian.
said, let's get into the topic at hand.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of also helps segue into why I picked Ironhide here. It's in the class system, how it's changed. Basically, let's be real. For the entirety of the time we've been collecting Transformers, there's one thing that the class system always meant to us for such a long time, where the class system simply meant the figure size.
Yeah.
And because of the fact that the size, like the class system mainly depicted the size, we just kind of grew used to that, where deluxes were, like the deluxe price point had the smaller guys. Voyagers were kind of middle of the road, and leaders were the big boys.
Perfect example,
Yeah.
BC. Perfect example. The Prime Wars trilogy of toys.
Correct.
You had start with Titan's Return. You had the little Titan class the little Titan Master headmasters, or the Target Masters. Then you had the Deluxes. Then you had the Legends class, which were the smaller bots. Then you had Deluxe. Then you had, your Voyager, Leader, and finally Titan.
Oh, and then I don't remember if they had this in the 07 movie line, but I do know that they had for the Revenge of the Fallen line, at least. Legends class and what used to be basic class was the Scout class, and now it's Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, I literally just now realized that Scout class used to be a thing. I'm like, whatever happened to those?
Well, they came over from Unicron trilogy, so
We technically still have it. It's just changed its name.
Yep.
It's basically no longer Scout class. For a time, it was called Legends class.
yeah.
Now it's called Core class, which honestly, I'm kind of okay with that. Especially if we're talking, the Core class Dinobots. I think they're great. But the reason why I started with what the size class, like what the class system originally was, we grew so used to saying, oh, at the leader size class or at the Voyager size class, we expect this. And with this new era of Transformers, we learned we learned very, very quickly with Siege, Leader, Shockwave, that things have changed. And they're trying something new with the class system. Because, let's face it, he is not a leader class figure. Just flat out, he's not.
Nope.
He is a Voyager with extra fluff. Voyager Plus.
Can I also mention? I mentioned this previously in a couple of couple of months back. Was when I got the Buzzworthy Nest Ratchet, and I compared him to Buzzworthy Nest Bone Crusher. They are both the same height. You know, they stand the same height, but they're two different size classes and price points.
Exactly. And
At least. Go ahead.
And with that being stated, that's something that I definitely feel I need to talk about real quick. But I'm going to let him speak his piece real quick before I go into it.
Oh, I was just going to say, in terms of like the height and everything, the reason for that's, I mean, it's already been explained several times by the people at Hasbro and Takara. Like, they're, you know, in I guess, like,
okay, so effectively what you're about, I'm sorry, I'm not trying to cut you off, I promise. Just, you're basically leading into what I was about to say.
Yeah, but I was also more so saying, like, in terms of like how Ratchet, how, you know, Solo, you just mentioned with Ratchet and Bone Crusher being the same height, despite the fact that apparently, you know, they are supposedly two different size classes in the modern day. An older collector could be like, oh, they, in that perspective, they would both be deluxe class.
Yeah. Because I believe the Ratchet was a deluxe and the Bone Crusher was what, a Voyager, I believe it was?
Yeah, he was a Voyager.
Like I said, they were the same height, you know, head to toe, but the only difference being the articulation and engineering and price point.
Now, bouncing off of what you just said, price point. What did that mean back then? For the price, you got to figure this big. Or for the price, you got to figure this small. Seems very cut, dry, basic, right?
Let's going back to Titan's Return, right? You look at the Titan Master, you paid what, $5? You got a little headmaster and a little transforming base. You know, whether it was like a
for $5, those things were bangers. Like,
exactly.
I'm just going to come outright and say it. Those little Titan former vehicle things, those things were so addicting as little flippy toys.
Like the Brawn. Sorry, like the Brawn, it was a little headmaster Brawn, and you got a little tank that transformed into a hover bike. Sorry, go ahead, TFA.
Oh, I was just gonna say, BC, you say that about the Titan Master vehicles. How do you feel about the Pretender armor from Power of the Prime?
Honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat with those as well. I think the Pretender armor is less interesting because there's not nearly as much you can do with power armor. But
right.
I love them entirely for how they managed to get the shells out.
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved the idea of them becoming weapons that your bigger figures could hold. I love the fact that the little core guys actually encouraged you to use your imagination. That's the way. If a gimmick was forced into the toys, that's the kind of gimmick I'd be okay with. One where it actually encourages you to use your fucking imagination and does not rely on a fucking spring.
And like with Titan's Return, how the heads could come off and you could swap the heads around to give your Transformers a different look.
Exactly.
Not
See,
not to
such a
mention how
simplistic gimmick that lasts for hours on end, and you never have to worry about a spring going out.
the Prime Masters are actually the 13 original Primes.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So, with all that said, here's like once the Prime Wars ended, that was the first real big hurrah where the class system depicted the toy sides.
Yeah.
Once we got to Siege, the biggest like I keep trying to get to, the biggest indicator that something changed was with that Shockwave. He was at the leader class price point, but height-wise, he stood as tall as a Voyager.
Mm-hmm.
For $50, that toy, I'm just gonna be real. I said it in my review, and I stand by it to this day. That toy was not worth $50.
No.
It was not. But that at that point, even I failed to realize there's a massive change here that we're not really processing right now because it's still very much in its infancy.
Mm-hmm. And the thing
Where
is,
the size class, like the class system, stopped being about size.
mm-hmm.
Where they took that class system and they focused it on how the toy works.
And the thing is, I'm always going to say about that Shockwave, though, is this was the perfect middle ground for Shockwave fans and collectors. Because, I mean, up until that point, you either had the Combiner Wars Legends class, the Walgreens Authentics, that Shockwave, or Masterpiece.
The Walgreens, the Cyber Battalion one.
Yeah, I actually have that figure, and I actually really like it.
I mean, as fun as those other Shockwaves were, this was like, okay, we've got G1, but it's on steroids, and it's not the price of a Masterpiece Shockwave.
Yeah, because I mean, let's be real. Shockwave shelf warmed like a motherfucker because everyone wanted the core robot, but no one wanted to pay the $50 price point for all the armor parts. What we were failing to see as fans right out the get-go with that is all of that extra armor, all those extra armor parts, that's just all the stuff they were able to include with him because of putting him in the leader price point. If they released him just as a bog standard Voyager, yeah, a lot of people would have been a lot happier with him. But then when once you actually sit down and you really start to think about it, this was Hasbro testing the waters with this whole entire idea.
Yeah, that first
it was the perfect vehicle, not for Shockwave, but the leader figure that sold out so fucking fast when Siege's first wave dropped. That
And
being the leader Ultra Magnus.
And to be fair, they did it with 3 of the most popular Transformers at the time: Soundwave, Shockwave, Ultra Magnus.
The shock with the Ultra Magnus, that's where you got where once again it was very much like Shockwave, but with Ultra Magnus, it worked because it was something that he already did back in the day, but it worked.
And to be fair, it was an upgrade from the Combiner Wars Minimus Ambus armor.
Exactly. Where you were able to buy a Voyager scaled figure that came with armor parts that you attach to it to turn him into proper Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
And then he transformed into a truck on his own, and the armor parts became a trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's where you guys were going with that.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, they somewhere in there they're like, okay, well, we have to put in 2 toys for the leader class for the first wave. Who are we going to add in here? They clearly wanted to do a Shockwave, and that's where it pinged in their brain. If we put him in there and we include all this extra armor stuff, it allows us a lot more freedom with the Shockwave figure as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't notice it. We did. It didn't truly start to hit what they're doing until Earthrise hit.
Yeah.
As soon as Earthrise hit, and we really got to see exactly what the fuck the leader class price point could do, at that point, a lot more people were starting to become a lot more okay with the new class system. Because at that point, look at the Astro Train we got out of that.
Yeah.
I don't care what, like, hold on, let me say this real quick. With how much grief Astro Train got because of the fact that he was a leader class toy, a leader class triple changer, no less. Let me hit you with this. Do you heavily dislike anything with the physical design, or do you just strictly dislike the scratched up paint job?
A lot of it was the battle damaged paint job.
Exactly. So guess what? Say what you will about the battle damage paint job. The physical figure itself is a stroke of engineering fucking genius.
It's
Yeah.
a really
That
good
is a figure that takes the original Astro Train transformation, adds to it, and still manages to give you a fun little coal car to go with him to give him all his weaponry. But the bulk of the budget went into making him a proper triple changer.
Mm-hmm.
And with this rumored SS-86 leader Springer coming, he's now going to get that proper treatment. Because let's face it, the Siege Voyager, it's pretty good, but it's not drop dead amazing.
And to be fair, you know, I picked up the Springer when he dropped in Siege. Fantastic. The previous Springer I had was the Nick Roche Thrilling 31, and even then, I thought that was a fantastically designed figure. I mean, some people might disagree because of the whole lanky lower body, bulky upper body, but then that's because it was taking cues from the IDW Nick Roche design.
Yep, Sins of the Wreckers, or Last Stands of the Wreckers, Sins of the Wreckers, and Requiem of the Wreckers.
Exactly. But again, it was a great figure, and I love the fact you could even slide the fenders of the car mode up to form the bulky shoulder pads he got in the comic book. It was that was that fun little design cue. I mean, I did like the fact that Siege took a lot of cues from the original 86 toy. In terms of the bulky design, the chest plate, even with the scratched armor.
The one thing that still bothers me was the chest.
It was
just the paint, like that scratched paint on the chest really irked me, because there was a rumored premium finish Springer that was supposed to happen that was probably going to clean that up, but it never happened, so that probably got pushed to SS-86.
They probably pushed that one to the Wreck and Rule collection that just dropped. Well, recently.
No, that was already planned, I'm pretty sure. Because
but
they were supposed to do a proper clean version of Springer for premium finish, or that was just I don't know.
Because I remember the Wreck and Rule collection was more. While the Siege Springer was obviously based off the toy, it was animation paint scheme, whereas the Wreck and Rule collection is more of a toy-based paint scheme. So I would presume that the toy-based Wreck and Rule Springer may have that premium finish with the Wreckers emblem. But speaking of that, so what did you guys think of those Netflix spoiler boxes they did at the time?
We're not talking about that. We're not going to talk about that.
No, because I do remember they went on clearance very quickly.
Not all of them were though, because the Earthrise spoiler box, it was Nemesis Prime,
Yeah.
and I never ever found him at stores. I did, however, pre-order it.
I saw all three in stores. Megatron, the first one, the Dead Ultra Magnus went to clearance very quickly. Oh, sorry, BC, go ahead.
Here's the thing with Earthrise, though. Look at how terrible the distribution was with that part of the line.
Yeah.
You also have to remember.
Hold on. I never once found Deluxe Wave 2.
You also have to remember a lot of Earthrise was screwed over thanks to the global pandemic and how bad distribution was out of China at the time.
No, and another thing you got to keep in mind, Earthrise was a banger of a fucking line that next to no one appreciated because of the fact that, for one, we were dealing with a fucking global pandemic at that point. Not a lot of people are thinking about the toys right now.
You also have to remember
that is trying to guide their way through this. So a lot of figures that probably were initially planned to be solo releases got shafted into 2-pack releases.
That's also why the Earthrise Prowl literally became literal gold dust. Because
that pandemic really messed up a lot of the stock for Earthrise. That's why we got hit with so much QC. Whether people want to acknowledge that or not, that's up to them. Because I have people, or I've heard people still say like, "Oh, Earthrise was garbage because Earthrise was garbage. Doesn't matter because of a pandemic." Yeah, it does.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm going to attempt to avoid a rant, so I'm just going to say this as best as possible, because if I got a full screen, everybody's shutting up.
Okay.
Sitting there telling us that Earthrise sucked because it sucked, the pandemic had nothing to do with it, you are clearly somebody who had literal blinders over your damn eyes, because you clearly weren't seeing everything that was going on around at the time. So therefore, not only do you fail to see what's going on, you fail to properly grasp how big of a problem that was, not just for people, but for Transformers as a whole.
Yeah.
And just that's as far as I'm going to go with that, because, like, honestly, with the Earthrise, the big thing I wanted to get to with it is the fact that that's when we really started to notice they're using the class system in a different way.
Yeah.
And my biggest argument point, Deluxe Cliff Jumper.
And I got into some of the Earthrise, and the only figures I really got was the Earthrise Thrust and RC.
Yeah, all the figures from I got just about every figure that of the characters that appeared in the G1 series, and with the Netflix subline. God,
What
was the reason? What was the reason behind Soundwave and Bumblebee being so rare?
Because of distribution issues. There was Walmart distribution issues during the pandemic. It's why Walmart's Bumblebee is not only a sought after figure, but it's why it goes for stupid money. Same with the Prowl.
At least now with Bumblebee, it only goes for like $50.
Yeah, there was at one point. Hell, also remember when the Battle Chargers went for stupid money?
They still go for stupid money.
The Earthrise Seekers, they go for stupid money.
Oh yeah,
those ones aren't that bad. I saw like a Skywarp and a Thundercracker separately for like $70.
Oh God! Speaking of Skywarp,
Link me now.
I sent you the link before.
The Siege Skywarp figure, which was an Amazon exclusive. God, he goes for stupid money too, and I'm glad I got him when I did because I believe I had a
Yeah, we're
pre-order.
not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
that.
like also back on Bumblebee and Soundwave, I'm glad I got them when I did because that's the one and only time I'd ever found Bumblebee ever in my area. Soundwave, I found another Soundwave in the wild in the spring of 2021. And
The
originally
other-
I snagged it because I wanted to see, like, hey, anybody looking for this? I was going to sell it to somebody for a fair price. A fair price,
Yep.
but also be able to turn a profit at the same time, if that makes sense. But nobody wanted it. I'm like, okay, I could really use the money more than the figure itself, so let's just return it.
The other thing as well is also, and I'm talking this from a UK standpoint, was global distribution, not just US based. A lot of those figures were US only, and in the UK, we only got some of those, like Ratchet, Thrust, the Battle
Yes.
Chargers, etc., through imports. And obviously, they went very quickly.
Yeah, no, it's
Th-
fun because
I was going to say, that Earthrise Ratchet was one of the most sought after figures during the pandemic. Same with Netflix, Bumblebee, and Earthrise Prowl.
God, I'm pissed at myself for not grabbing that Ratchet figure. Because I mean, I have the Walgreens exclusive Cybertronian version, but not the Earth mode one from Earthrise. I'm just like, God damn it, bees.
Well,
And then-
that's when they decided to make the decision, like, hey, let's take that crappy Earthrise RC mold and turn her into Lifeline, which I liked, but then threw her in with the Ratchet. And then Amazon just started canceling orders because too many people ordered and there wasn't enough stock for the demand.
Yep. And then, obviously, thankfully, when the global... All I'm going to say is, and then, thankfully, the global pandemic lifted and supplies started getting through. And
The quality started getting better, too.
and products
Sorry.
started to get the... Fantastic. Yeah, that was good. QC improved. Supplies started getting through. And with Kingdom, you know, it's like we started actually seeing product on store shelves. Go ahead, BC.
I think from here on out, that's what I'm going to do if I need somebody to just shut up and let me talk.
Okay, sorry. I was just
I was about to
raising
say,
a
when do you
point.
need permission? It's your show.
Because every single time I go, hey, 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 no one shuts up.
And
Well,
also,
sorry,
I
I
think as a result, we you're drowned out or something because when one person's talking,
I was just
See? Right there.
sorry.
That's why I'm doing the hand wave.
precisely.
So,
Trying to get-
anyways, the moment you mentioned Kingdom, that's when, that's where I was going with this, because that's where the line that put the whole idea of the class no longer means size finally comes into play, because we were introduced to Studio Series 86, which is where this was released.
Mm-hmm.
So Studio Series 86 is where we really start to see this idea take shape.
Mm-hmm.
Where even though you were paying the Voyager price point for a Hot Rod figure, he only stood as tall as the Deluxe. Naturally, people lost their ever-loving minds when all they saw was the robot and the vehicle, and that's it. But as time went on, and we started seeing more promotional images for it, and we started seeing, ooh, okay, he's coming with a Matrix, he's coming with the Light Our Darkest Hour bit, and he's gonna have the two guns, and he's gonna come with blast effects for the guns.
And
Okay, that's pretty neat. I still don't think it's worth $30, but I still think that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and we get
Where
the
this
sword blade.
really starts to set in, and this is where, this is the one thing that I need to drive home. That Hot Rod's transformation for a figure that stands as tall as a Deluxe It's bar none one of the best transformations I've ever seen.
Shame about that Velocitron collection version.
I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to see that toy accurate deco released somewhere soon.
Let me guess.
I don't know
Gen
where,
Selects.
I don't know when. All I know is I know we're going to get it.
Gen Selects.
BC,
Here's
just
hoping.
having JJ saying, oh, hey, JJ, I've never cared about how big or small a figure is, never cared about accurate scale. I care about having fun with the figure. That's it.
And you know that's perfectly fine, but in regards to this conversation, like that's like this size class thing, honestly, it's something that we've been needing to sit down and address.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one of the first things that I really said in regards to this is the fact that everybody started like loosely and without any real weight behind it throwing around was the term mini masterpiece. I'm like, did everybody just shush and listen to me for 2 seconds?
Muting up.
Mini masterpiece is not a thing, and it never will be, nor should it be. Because masterpiece as a whole, it stands for something else. It's the one thing that is it's the hard line drawn in the sand between two collect. You know what? I'm zooming in because the move is distracting me. Where there's a fine line between masterpiece collectors and mainline collectors. Now that the engineering for the mainline stuff is starting to reach that point where they're doing a lot more clever things because they're willing to utilize the size scale in a different way. We're so used to Prime being a Voyager. But when he was bumped up to the leader class price point, now all of a sudden, he didn't just have to be Optimus Prime with the gun. He was now able to be Optimus Prime with the gun, the trailer, the drone, and whatever else you were able to actually get with it. Like, I don't fully remember what all came with the trailer. I'm going to be completely real. I don't care about the trailer. But the point still stands. At the leader class price point, they gave you a trailer for it. The Matrix, yeah. He came with a removable Matrix. The torso could open up to allow him to pull the Matrix out. Like, they included all this stuff, and it was able to happen because he was put into the leader price point. It's not the leader size scale. It's the leader price point. So at the $50 price point, now all of a sudden, a lot of this starts making more sense. That's why SS86 Hot Rod, that even though he stands at the size of a deluxe, he's at the Voyager price point because of how he's engineered. And another very clear-cut case here is the Commander class Rodimus. Since he was put into the Commander class and wasn't stuck at the leader price point, look at how massive his trailer was. Look at all the stuff his trailer could do. Look at how that figure transforms. There is so much more going on with that line that really helps these mainline toys stand out against other competitors. But under no circumstance are these considered mini masterpieces. That will never happen. And nor should it ever. Because masterpiece is supposed to be the pinnacle, be-all, end-all interpretation of that character in question. Bar none. No questions asked. And while I do see why others want to sit there and scream, oh, but look at how it transforms and mirrors the masterpiece. So if you're telling me if I had an Age of Extinction Grimlock that transforms almost word for word like the Masterpiece G1 Grimlock, you're going to tell me that's a mini masterpiece? No. No, you can't use that argument at that point now, can you? We can acknowledge how good the engineering has gotten. We can. Even I'm more than willing to acknowledge just how good that engineering got. I still to this day think that we got some of the best figures ever just with legacy. And that's from an engineering standpoint. But I will under no circumstance call any of these mini masterpieces. There's only one thing that I will even come close to giving that title. And even then, I'm still waiting for them to do something to truly wow me to give them that title, and that's New Age. So with all that stated, completely moving away from that third-party company because we're talking mainline, mini masterpiece is something that should not be thrown around under any circumstance, period. And I know, like, the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because I still know some people who are still to this day bringing it up. It's okay if you want to say that to justify the price that you're paying. I got no issues with that. But when you're trying to convince other people to think the same way you do, not everyone is going to feel the same way. Here's a really good example. Like when we did an entire episode on why mini masterpiece is not a thing, TFA brought up very validated points. But at the end of the day, I still basically sat there and said, like, that's perfectly fine. But you also got to understand, masterpiece means something completely different. If you're going to call something a masterpiece, it needs to hold up the masterpiece title. As bold of a statement I made was this, where this is everything the masterpiece should have been, I still won't call this a mini masterpiece. And I did not say this is a mini masterpiece. I said this is everything the masterpiece should have been. See, there's a difference in wording. Because I know some people love to spin around and claim and talk about how, oh, well, you said this, 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 and this. There's the fine line right there. He does things the masterpiece should have. He's not a mini masterpiece. Therefore, we should not confuse anything. We should simply just state it as the engineering on these toys has gotten so good that they feel like far more, if I could say this right, these feel more like toys that if they were at the masterpiece scale would look a lot better. Question, do you consider SS-86 Commander Ultra Magazine? No, I don't. I do not. I think it is a fantastic piece of engineering. I don't think he's a mini masterpiece. Nor will I ever think he's a mini masterpiece. I'm not yelling at you, JJ, I promise. I'm simply just answering your question. So, at the end of the day, my point with this is, if you really like this engineering, like I do, temper what you say. Because if you are going as far as to say, these are mini masterpieces, you're going to lead people to think, oh, okay, these things are going to have die casts. These things are going to have buttloads of paint. These things are going to look word for word to the cartoon. These things are going to do this. These things are going to do that. And then they're going to buy the toy, and they're going to be like, this is nothing like the masterpiece line at all. There's the problem right there. You oversold it. Now, same vein. But you simply went, the engineering on these toys have gotten so good that I'm more willing to buy this than the masterpiece. Now, all of a sudden, things are changing around where the person you're talking to, they're listening to what you're saying. You're going, huh. You know, I'm gonna check one of these out real quick, see what he's talking about. It's a whole nother situation. It's a whole nother ball game. Because at the end of the day, can they be transformation-wise as good as a masterpiece? Abso-fucking-lutely. As we clearly see. But can they ever be mini masterpiece? No. They cannot. They cannot. So, for those who I have officially offended, sorry, not sorry. But for those who are genuinely actually hearing what I'm saying and not looking at me with furious eyes, I hope we came to some level of an understanding. Now I'm done.
Well said, BC. Well said. Because some people would say, take for example, Studio Series 86 hot rods, see the level of design, the engineering, the paint, the articulation, the accessories, and go, man, this is a mini masterpiece in its own right.
In fact, hold on. To help me prove that point a little bit better.
Or like JJ said,
Some new age legend scale engineering here.
oh, this is a new age, is it?
This isn't the new age. The Ultra Magnets.
Yep. Fantastic.
This is engineering fucking genius. And at this, like, if this was a full scale masterpiece figure, I'd have a lot of issues with it. But at the size scale, this is where I'm willing to blur that line. But this is a third party company.
Yeah.
These operate differently.
Yeah. Sure. And that's what I'm saying, you know.
TFA, you good?
The what?
You good?
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
Well, I mean, I did just go into the whole mini masterpiece thing, and you went like super quiet after that too. So,
Oh, I mean, I was just waiting for others to say what they were gonna say, and then chime in because I don't want to cut anyone off.
I said what I had to.
No. See, here's my question: do you need the floor?
No, it's nothing like that.
Okay. So basically, getting back to the original point, the size, like the class system. See, now I'm starting to go back to saying size scale. The class system has now officially changed, and I feel like this is a very good move because we're getting figures that focus more on the engineering than the size.
I have a question. Sorry, I was going to say, I have a question, BC. Could we, in theory, and I say this as a hypothetical, could we blur the line and have the engineering and scale as the from the original class system? Say, for example, you know, a Voyager scale broadside, like he was in Titan's Return, at that price point and size? Or are we asking too much there?
See, at that point, I feel we're asking too much. When it comes specifically to broadside, I'm going to be real, you're looking more at a leader.
Okay.
I know everybody wants broadside to be a commander. I know I've heard your cries. I get it. No, he should not be a commander. Do not waste a commander slot to make him. If you're going to use the commander class price point for anybody, it should not be him. Let him be in the leader scale. Because all of the triple changers, other than Springer, thus far, they've been in the leader price point. And because of that, they're getting bonkers levels of engineering.
Yeah, and also, broadside, like just his original toy. Have you seen what his original toy looks like?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, he transforms into a jet and a military aircraft carrier, and it just looks like
You
pure
also-
ass. I mean, even the Time to Turn class figure. Oh yeah, I agree. Tidal Wave should be Commander class. Anyway, yeah.
Oh,
Um,
TFA.
the Titans Return broadside figure. It's somewhat better than the original toy, but it still looks like ass. So I think maybe at a leader class price point, which is also another thing with broadside is that like military aircraft carriers. Do you guys have any idea how big those things are?
They're fucking massive, and that's exactly why people are saying that he needs to be a commander class figure.
Which I can understand that, but also at the same time, even the original cartoon. Yeah, I'm wanting to finish. In the original cartoon, his scale was all over the damn place. Like,
Yeah,
just
but
like
you
the
have-
aircraft carrier, the jet, robot mode. So I think maybe a commander class figure would. Like, I don't know. How big was his robot mode compared to everybody else? I can't remember. But
Same size as like Magnus, I think.
Yeah, but
Yes,
you also have to remember, Bees, you're talking 1980s. One, you're
Also,
talking about a toy that was designed in 1985 using 1985 engineering. Okay,
JJ's picking that real shit.
exactly,
Yep.
yes, I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Very valid point. But the jet mode looked like ass.
two.
Also,
You're talking
also-
Yeah,
about
like,
I
I
was
feel
gonna
like
say,
maybe the
two.
leader class. I feel like the leader class. Yeah, I feel like that'd probably be a better choice. Like, yeah, like I honestly want a new broadside figure in the leader class size and price point, but like, I'm not asking for like old fashioned leader class size, but like as big as they can get, like for a leader class figure to be.
Okay,
Because,
Bees, give me a second.
okay.
But the other
So-
thing, Bees,
You're telling the
you're
you're telling
talking.
you're telling the cast. You're telling the cast that you basically want a broadside figure that does the triple changer engineering exactly the way the others have done it, but you want him to size up about as big as these.
Unless he was smaller, of course, because if we're going for scale, again, it's been so long since
Throw
I've been
scale out the window, because if we're talking strictly G1, scale when it comes to broadside is whatever the fuck you feel is right.
I guess whatever size his robot mode was, which if he's gonna be an aircraft carrier, let's just fuck it. Yeah. Fuck scale in that regard, because aircraft carriers are huge.
Yeah, you want scale for an aircraft carrier? Oh, look, Hasbro announced HasLab broadside.
Yeah, I was going to say. Well, look at Titan's Return and Tidal Wave. They came with tiny little aerial bots that you plug into the deck plate.
Which I also thought that was cool. But yeah, like I think for a leader class, either give him make him bigger, and either God, I forgot what I was gonna say and how I was trying to say it. But yeah, like I think leader class at the very least would be fitting for him, because I would like better engineering to give him if it's possible, give him a cleaner jet mode. I mean, it's the jet mode that just seems to suffer the most, like of all the toys that have been released for him, because it's a fucking brick with wings at a cockpit.
Yeah. So
But you're asking a lot there, because you've got to make both modes work around the same thing. You're asking a aircraft carrier to look like a jet. Go on, BC.
TFA's been wanting to talk.
TFA, go.
Yeah, I think I've got my point across about for the most part. So you go on, my good sir.
I was just trying to make the HasLab joke.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard that.
I'm not trying to be a dick when I say this, but like every time I tried to open my mouth, someone always talked over, so I kind of went silent mode.
Well, I was trying to say TFA wants the floor, so.
Yeah. I think, you know what? We're gonna have a small little discussion near the end of the episode, once we're actually fully done with the topic, for the sake of the after party. But before we get into all that, so effectively, when it comes when it comes specifically to how the class system works, now all of a sudden a lot of these characters and a lot of these figures that we thought would never happen, now all of a sudden they seem a little more possible, right? We never thought we could get a leader scale, or not a leader scale. We never thought we would get an Ultra Magnus figure in the main line that did the full cabin trailer vehicle mode, that transformed into the robot and looked as close as humanly possible to his G1 character model. We didn't think this was possible. But with that commander class price point and the level of engineering they can put into that, now all of a sudden that became possible. Optimus Prime having his trailer in almost every release he's gotten thus far in the leader class scale. If this was old school leader scale, that wouldn't have happened. Like the way, like Cliff Jumper would have been shafted to core class if they did not have the deluxe budget for him. I don't like the way the Cliff Jumper and Bumblebee mold look. I really fucking don't.
Yeah, real quick.
But even I have to admit, the engineering on those figures are pretty fucking decent. I don't like the fucking parts formation piece, but at least they're showing that they're learning how to work with the budget. Please go.
Yeah, I was just wanting to say real quick that, like, even if they didn't include all the stuff that they did come with to justify the deluxe class price point, I think that'd still be too big to be classified as core class.
Well, yeah, I was speaking an example.
Right, I got you.
Just at the end of the day, the ultimately the point to this whole episode is that I now want to hit each and every one of us with a question. Do you want things to go back to the way it was, or do you want them to stick with the way they're doing things now? And we're going to go from person to person. TFA. Do you want the size class system, or do you want this current system? Which do you prefer, and why?
To be completely honest, as someone who grew up during the times of the Unicron trilogy, where the size classes were also kind of changing periodically, this is no different for me. I mean, a really good example is that Earthrise ended up introducing Micromasters for the first time in nearly 30 years.
Don't you mean Siege?
All right, Siege. Could have sworn it was Earthrise first. No, oh wait, no, that's where I'm getting confused. Earthrise introduced the more, like, actual
Earth mode stuff.
Yeah. I mean, later during the tail end of Siege, they started introducing. But my point is, I mean, this is the first time in a long time where we actually saw, like, mini robot packs, you know, in stores since Transformers Armada. So, like, you can throw a new name on a size class all you want, but at least this time it's different to the where, as opposed to expecting for spending like $25 for a deluxe class, you're not getting just like a standard looking deluxe. You're getting various size character deluxe class figures, such as like what they did with Huffer and Cliff Jumper and Pipes and Bumblebee and because one there was no, like Brawn, SS-86 Brawn. You wouldn't believe that thing was a deluxe class. You'd think he'd be like a little core class, but no, he's up there. He's one of the big boys.
I'm very much looking forward to SS-86 Brawn myself.
He's great.
Which I do have that figure.
He's great.
That's why I pre-order on Amazon.
I got mine from Pulse. No, actually, no.
Well, okay, can you see there's something in your eye? I think there's something in your eye. I recommend using a drill to get it out.
Woody, hit him.
Bleh.
God damn it! Where I put my squeaker? Okay, do it again. I'm ready now.
Yeah. Hang on. Wrong way. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
As funny as the squeaker would be, I'd like a clown horn just going.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, what is that? A plastic knife?
It's a steel knife. Yeah.
Well, you're such a fucking pansy that it feels like you're like jabbing at me with a plastic knife. Oh.
But
PC,
yeah,
no,
to
no,
kind of
don't you
finish-
dare. Don't you think about it, PC. No. No, no.
Okay, okay.
Okay, good.
That's 2 kind moments today. Oh, never mind.
There once was a man from Peru who dreamed he was eating.
Oh, he's dead. Time for ready stuff.
So yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, like I was saying, yeah, I see no. I mean, other than the differences of like this is now being put towards the engineering, which a lot of people really need to acknowledge that as much as they want to be like, oh, Aztec is a multi-million-dollar franchise corporation. Yeah, they are, but still, they determine what the budget for their, their stock or their merchandise goes towards. If they're now making the decision to be like, hey, the size class ain't about size class anymore, it's now about engineering and what the figure or toy can do, that's in their right. Whether you like it or not is irrelevant. That is the company flat out saying, this is what's happening. We're redefining the size classes. And that's that.
Mm.
I feel like you need the floor.
The what?
I feel like you need the floor.
I'm
Same.
good. I'm good.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to get this off your chest?
Yeah, fuck it. Give me the floor.
There we
Please.
go. Right.
Please.
Hang on.
Bees, mute up.
Muting up.
Bees is dead. No, it's an exception. So yeah, that's something that's always kind of irked me lately is I hear a lot of people say that like redefining the size class for more profit was a bad move. And I strongly disagree. And to all the people out there who have been against the whole idea of, oh, the price is now the way it is because it's for the budget for the engineering and the figure, like size classes price doesn't matter by size anymore. It's about engineering. I'm sorry that you fail to accept that this is a thing that happens and that you're going to throw a hissy fit about it or you're going to complain about it. And to be fair, I mean, everyone's sort of complaining about money nowadays. Have you seen the economy? Have you seen the job market? It ain't good. We're all just trying to coexist on this rock. But just to be so bullheaded, basically, for lack of a better phrase, and to just flat out deny, like, nope, this is not it. This is just a corporation being greedy. It really isn't. Because you think you think the Transformers team would go as above and beyond to make these figures look as good as they do and transform the way that they do? And not all of them are absolute winners. I mean, you got Rise of the Beast mainline stuff that not all of them are great. There's some that are good, some stink, some are actually pretty fire. And then you have lines like Studio Series and Legacy. You had the War for Cybertron trilogy. We've been spoiled. We have absolutely been spoiled. They really care about what these characters represent to people. Whether people look at it like, oh, they're just trying to make a quick buck, or if someone labels you as like, oh, you're just kind of kissing Hasbro's ass, say that proudly, man. At least you're loyal. Like, you're not hate buying like how people would hate watch a show and then that show would still get support. You're genuinely enjoying these things. I nearly died the other day trying to get this buzzworthy 3-pack with Mirage, Air Racer, and Bumblebee because my dad drives and I don't. It's a whole thing. Because one, as much as I disagreed with the price, because it's $60 for this pack, I strongly kind of disagree with that. But for what they do, they're not bad. They're pretty good. I like them. And I feel like a lot of people kind of need to just be more understanding and accepting of the fact, like, this is reality. This is what's happening. You know, you can deny it all you want, but it doesn't make it any less true. And this ain't towards anyone specific. I'm not like that. I've heard a lot of people in the past, like, completely deny this. And at some point, you're either going to have to be accepting of it. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it. And either make your decision of, do I want to continue doing this and collecting these while paying these prices for what we're getting? Or is this where I'm going to stop? Because I don't see this type of layout that they have now go away anytime soon. Because they found something that works and they're clearly sticking with it. And without this brand new layout that they're doing now for the prices that determine engineering, we wouldn't have classes like the Commander class. We wouldn't have Titan class still. So it's going to be the way it is. And again, whether you like that or not is irrelevant. But you got to accept it. That is all.
Good?
Yeah, that's all. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
So, fun fact. The entire time he was sitting there, basically speaking that real shit.
I'm
You
fist
gave him
bumping you. You just
goosebumps.
can't. I'm fist bumping. You just can't see it.
Nice.
So while he was sitting there speaking that real shit,
You play.
I'm with it. I love it. I vastly prefer this, but you know, whatever. Beast, wake up!
Not to kill your joy on that Ironhide, be careful with the clear plastic.
I've been very careful with it. I don't fuck with clear plastic like that.
I'm just letting you know, because even though I've been careful with mine, those little pegs that connect for the front of the van, they still crack. One of them broke on mine.
Bees, you good?
Hang on. Bees, I'm coming for that Scorponok.
He's not waking up.
Okay. 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 All right.
See, I knew something like that would work. I was like,
delayed
Bees.
reaction, though.
I was gonna say, Bees. Oh, Bees is dead. I'm gonna ready stuff. Wait, no, that's not working. Wait, Bees is dead. Bees is dead. I'm going for that Scorponok.
See now at that point, Woody, let me ask you this. You think you're gonna be able to throw hands with me?
I don't need to. I just need to throw pocket sand and run.
Oh, that's cute. He thinks I can't catch him.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but you-
so the
He's a
same
runner, he's a
question
track
is now
star.
going to Bees. Where does he stand?
He's not standing, he's sitting.
He's got you there, BC.
TFA, sir, let me make something abundantly clear to you, sir. You're lucky that I allow you to keep that camera off.
I was just making a stupid pun.
Actually, we have a comedian here. We have a comedian here. Don't quit your day job.
Joke's on you, I don't have a job.
Oh, Bees.
Joke's on you, I don't have a job.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage.
Jokes on you. What?
I said, joke's on you, I don't have a job.
Hey, at least he gets to keep every penny he's got, unlike you, Beast.
Damn. I didn't say nothing.
Emotional damage again.
I am innocent. I did nothing wrong. I said nothing. You guys can all vouch for me.
Anyways.
Okay, enough.
Please answer the question. Do you want it to return to class means size, or do you want it to stick with class means engineering?
My opinion on the matter used to be like stick with like everything being based on class because this is how things were before, and it's just rooted purely on nostalgia. But I may not like it, but I can tolerate it. With like figures now being based like the pricing and size class or price class being based solely on engineering, I can tolerate it. But like my biggest issue is that figures are just like getting smaller and smaller, and starting in like Combiner Wars, everything is just starting to get smaller and just more hollow. It's like I can understand using less plastic, but like why? Like at the same time, why are they jacking up the prices while using less plastic? That's all. That always bothers me.
It's engineering, Beast.
Yeah. That's the main kind of takeaways. It's all towards engineering. Whether they use quality plastic or not, that's up to them. And so far, about 90% about what they make nowadays is relatively decent because we're still kind of dealing with like yellowing issues on some figures and clear plastic on others. But they're learning. The dead ironhide's a fact.
All I'm going to say is, can we say Shattered Glass Starscream yellowed out the box? Maverick yellowed out the box?
I know why you're doing that, and I'm sorry. I'm also not sorry, though, because they did listen. That dead ironhide ain't got no clear plastic.
I mean, somebody call a doctor or an exorcist. Somebody call an exorcist.
No. He's just.
He'll be fine.
A little bit by the fact that we got dead ironhide before Ratchet. Hold it in.
Okay.
Hold it in like a fart.
If anybody, I swear on Christ, if anybody says it again, I'm hitting bees again.
What?
Okay.
Why are you taking it out on me? Why are you so abusive?
Why did we get dead ironhide before mainline?
That was
anyway,
he's dead just like Ironhide.
You know what?
Hey, look at me! I'm miraculously alive.
Yeah, well, at least he was dead first and now alive, just like Ironhide.
I have an amulet.
Takes amulet.
God damn it!
Trying to fight for your life? Such heroic nonsense.
Why y'all this is not the after party?
Okay.
No, we're still trying to get to the question.
Is it my turn now, BC?
I don't know. Is Bees done?
Bees, are you done, or do you still have more to say?
I'm dead. I mean,
I'm dead.
Because I have a fair bit to say about this.
Seriously, Bees, are you good, or?
I am, and I'm dead. I mean.
Okay, Woody.
Right.
Do you want it to stay? Do you want the size class, or not? God damn it! Do you want the class system to mean size, or do you want it to mean engineering?
Well, funny you should say, because as someone who grew up in the late 80s and early 90s, where this was the standard, and basically price point, I'm talking about the Optimus Prime, and the price point was based on size rather than engineering. That was the standard, I grew up with. And then obviously Beast Wars adding the various size classes and price points. So, that, and like TFA, I grew up at a time when, class, when I grew up, class was not a thing. It was like you had Autobot car, Minibot, etc., etc. That was it. There was no Optimus Prime is this class, none of this. It was only Beast Wars that added the class system. And that class system, as I became a Transformers fan, was always evolving and changing with each generation. And what we got out of that size class changed, Yeah, were there hits and misses in those classes? Of course there was. And I think TFA, Bs, BC, you might agree with some of what they consider a class versus another class was a bit hit and miss. Like I was saying earlier with the buzzworthy Nest, Bone Crusher, and Ratchet, but that's what it is. You got to take those hits. And to me, this is why Prime Wars had the class meaning size, which was fine for the time. I accepted it, the price point. Now size means, class means engineering. And I'm fine with this current stage of evolution. Personally, I would like to find a nice middle ground between size and price point, but we take what we can get.
Okay.
That's what you get, and you don't get upset.
So,
I mean,
where does BT stand?
I was going to say, what would this be considered now? I mean, what was he listed as in the Walmart one?
It would be considered your old class.
Yeah, but I mean, when he was a Walmart Retro, was he listed as a deluxe or something? I don't know.
I mean,
Yeah, because
G1 has its own. G1 has its own class. You want to know what it's called? Veteran class.
Yeah, veteran class. No, but you know what I mean. When you compare the size of G1 toys compared to now, I mean, they were.
I mean, yeah, I guess technically.
I mean, this would have been.
Hold up. By modern standards, a G1 Optimus Prime was the very first deluxe class Optimus Prime.
I was going to say, because I think when I measured him up
Holy
against
shit, that just blew my mind.
Titans jump starters.
Bro, what the fuck?
Fantastic.
That just blew my own goddamn mind. Holy shit.
Yeah, Titans, I was going to say, and he was a deluxe class. Deluxe. But anyway, I compared him size-wise to the Titans Return jump starters. Fantastic deluxes, by the way. Love them. But anyway, BC.
I literally just blew my own goddamn mind. Everyone lost their mind whenever we got Dark of the Moon Deluxe Prime. Like, oh my god, Deluxe Optimus. G1 was the first Deluxe Prime.
Yes. If you're going by size, price point,
Right.
not so much.
So, where does BC stand with which would I prefer? Class to mean size or class to mean engineering? Wholeheartedly, engineering.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather pay for engineering. I don't want to pay for size. Because let's face it, I've been through a bit of a journey with my collecting. And because of the fact that I went through such a journey, I now look at these toys from a whole new light. I don't view these as just fun little things I can throw on a shelf. I look at these as, what am I getting for the price I'm paying? And for a while, since the class system still meant size, it stopped feeling worth it because it wasn't because of the fact that the figures were getting smaller. It's because of the fact that the figures weren't challenging you enough. Or they weren't giving you that same magic that they did before. No. The gimmick didn't bring the magic. It was how they worked.
Mm-hmm.
That a lot of that, what Aladar would call tactile feel, was no longer there at that point. That tactile feeling is starting to come back. And it's entirely because they finally struck the anvil on something that's working. people are buying these toys not just because it's the G1 character. They're buying it because for a figure that's supposed to represent a G1 character at a $25, $35, $55 price point, it's pretty bang on.
Mm-hmm.
We don't like, they don't care as much about the size. They care about what it can do. And that, at the end of the day, is what I prefer. I'd prefer it to have a transformation that I can have fun doing. I can't have fun with the classic Armada Megatron, but I can have loads of fun with the Legacy one. I said it. I don't care much for Armada Hotshot. I think the Legacy one is leaps and bounds better. I said it. And above all, JJ, I did just see your message. Yes, but let me finish first. Ultimately, at the end of the day, where I stand, quite simply, is just do not expect me or anybody else to basically do not expect any of us to jump in your corner just because you want it to mean size again. No, I like this. This whole way of things is what brought me back to mainline. And that's why I'm very much going to defend it as much as I physically possibly can. So get mad and stay mad. I don't care. I like this new class system, and I want it to continue for as long as possible. And if it finally runs its course and they start going, okay, we might need to go back to having the class system in size again, then, hey, we had a good run. But if this is working, let us have this. We like this. Let us have this. So before JJ gets an opportunity to say his piece,
JJ.
before JJ gets an opportunity to say his piece, let me figure out, or let me end this out with a simple Mebius. Let me end this with a simple response. BC gives the class system the way it works now. Class meaning engineering, he gives it the BC seal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Mebius, JJ, nice of you to stop by.
Mebius and JJ, thank you guys very much for coming by. JJ?
All right.
We all answered the question. Now it's your turn. Do you want it to stay in class means engineering, or do you want it to go back to meaning class means size?
You know, I have been very, very impressed with the engineering, that the War Cybertron Trilogy line, Studio Series 86, Gamer Edition. I'm really impressed with the engineering. But and I honestly I want the class system to stay the way it is like right now. Because I know a lot of people have been growing up with the class system meaning size, but literally that isn't the case anymore. Like what BC said earlier with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod being a Voyager class, but yet he still stacks up to a deluxe size. His engineering more than makes up for it, and the amount of accessories he comes with. And I've been hearing people saying, "Oh, these accessories are useless." Really? none of those accessories are useless. You know, you can use those accessories if you choose to, and those accessories that was included with Studio Series 86 Hot Rod. You know, he comes with a his hand can rotate around to make the welding hand, or you can just plug in the saw blade if you really want to. You can put in the visor and all that stuff. Now that's literally Voyager class scale, and he has opening and closing hands. That's Voyager class level, okay, and that's justified in my opinion. And with Commander class Rodimus Prime, his engineering is like, wow, his engineering is great. Like, that is a clever piece of engineering. It makes the robot mode look very clean, looks very accurate to the animation model, and it's leaps and bounds better than that horrible Power of the Primes version. Not saying that figure is bad. It's still a fun toy, but aesthetics wise, just doesn't feel Rodimus. Kingdom Rodimus is the Rodimus of all time. I don't care what anybody says. That is the best Rodimus Prime ever. I don't care. So
I'll agree with that. I'll agree.
As far as I'm concerned, because the engineering, the articulation, the fact that the trailer can do so much, and his ult mode is huge, that totally justifies Commander class price point. I'm sorry, but it does. So, and with Commander class Ultra Magnus, you can just replicate the death scene of Magnus, or you can replicate the Junkions repairing him. He has a spring-loaded chest. He has a he can hold the Matrix and just, he has a
Yeah, but it's a dinky ass Matrix.
Yes, he does have a small Matrix, but it's still nice.
Okay, so at the end of the day, you basically say you stand with class means engineering.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I stand for, because I've been impressed.
I've got a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think the Thrilling 30 and Universe sublines managed to bridge that gap between size and engineering?
I mean, I can't really say that much on that because I don't have a lot of Thrilling 30 figures. I barely have any.
Okay.
I guess they kind of did with the Voyagers, but the Blitzwing just no. I can't with that Blitzwing. That Blitzwing
What,
is
the
just,
Throwing 30s one?
yeah, I can't with that one. No.
Don't knock him until you try him, dude. He's pretty good.
I mean, I do have it. I do have him. But I broke pieces off him. So
because I thought the jazz was fantastic, the tracks was great.
The tracks
I'm
were so
sorry.
good.
Did you say what tracks are you talking about?
The Thrilling 30 turbo tracks.
no, there was no tracks from Thrilling 30.
That's Reveal the Shield for
That's
one.
Reveal the Shield.
That's where I got fucking confused.
Yeah, that's Reveal the
I was
Shield.
about to
tracks.
fucking say, if he said the Kingdom one is one of the greatest ones, I was about to be like, excuse the fuck out of you, sir.
No, that's something that
No,
I would say, or at least old me would say. Now I just look at him like, yeah, you're a Trax. You exist. Good for you.
No, you know, I had that Thrilling 30 turbo tracks. I thought it was a great figure.
You know, it's funny. No, that's Reveal the Shield, not Thrilling 30. Thrilling 30.
Yeah,
never
I
had it.
literally just said the same thing. It's Reveal the Shield, not Thrilling 30.
Yeah, you know what I mean. That era, that Reveal the Shield, Thrilling 30 universe.
I mean, that was a good figure. Yes, that was a good figure. So, but yeah, I want Hasbro to continue what they do with the class system. You know, just to make each class like the price is justified by the engineering, by how many steps the transformation has. So that's what I want Hasbro to continue doing. And if people just wants to complain about that, screw them. So
Because I will also say, that Thrilling 30, Roadbuster, and Whirl, wow, what incredible figures with the amount of, the complexity, the transformations, the amount of access.
they're not that incredible, are they?
The amount of accessories you got to kit them out.
Okay, all right. I see where you're going with that. Okay.
Yeah, I see where yeah. They had the okay, Roadbuster, I give him the combining weapon, so
Yeah, you had both of them had a literal arsenal that you could clip on, customize to however you want to have the loadout.
You know, Roadbuster and Whirl, they were pretty good voyages at the time, but you want to know who the best of those voyages was? And you cannot tell me otherwise, because fuck you, it was my era.
Gone?
Voyager Skybite.
Okay.
Yeah.
You cannot tell me that toy was not a fucking banger.
That thing is beautiful.
Okay, question. If we're talking about third parties, then where would the fans hobby be in the class system? See, here's the thing. This is a great conversation piece, and I would love to have this, but not here. Because third party is a whole nother thing that honestly, the only ones that really have any experience with it, realistically, this entire fucking cast is me. So therefore, I'd literally be just talking to the fucking phone the entire time. So I would love to have this conversation, but I don't think now's a good time for it. So back burner.
Could do a separate episode.
That's a decent Scrapyard episode.
Yeah.
So with that stated, I'm going to say something really quick because I have been noticing this has been happening a lot more lately. So before we really get into the after party and really start messing around, so yes, JJ, you'll get to throw hands with Solo in a minute. With that being stated, I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off when I say I am getting sick and tired of everybody talking over each other in my show. And I'm going to be blunt. This needs to stop. If we are, when one person is talking, we all need to shut up. But at the same time, it's on the person that's talking to straight up state, okay, I'm done. You guys can speak now. Why are we constantly having to step on each other's toes on the show? That's not fucking fair. How many times did TFA tell such a banner of a fucking joke, but none of us can hear him because we're all trying to talk over each other?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot of comedic potential that he was trying to show that we kept shitting on.
Which is rare for me because I don't really tell jokes because normally
exactly. So what? Why are we ruining that for him? Why?
Well,
that's not fucking fair. I'm not sitting there trying to yell at anybody. But we got to be courteous of everyone that's here.
Excuse me.
So from here on out, with every single episode, from now on, if we come to episode 77, and this happens again, I'm not going to be as nice. We need to start understanding that we all have something to say. Everyone that is on this cast has something to say, or everyone in here wants to have fun too. So if we are all going to be on this show, we must respect each other enough to allow everyone to talk, to speak their mind, to speak their piece. It is not fair to anybody if they're the ones that are constantly being silenced when they're the ones that are actually genuinely trying to contribute to the conversation. Bar none. So this is strictly just warning status now, but I'm being very serious. This happens again, I'm shutting down the whole conversation, and I don't care if we're live or not. I'm shutting it down. This is my show. As much as I appreciate the fact that you guys come on here and you have you guys plenty of fun and enjoy yourselves plenty. I'm being as abundantly clear as possible. Do not force my hand. I'm not above screaming on my show. And I will do it if it makes you guys understand that shit can't happen again. So, this is strictly just warning status. If it happens again, it will be addressed.
Excuse me.
Yes, TFA, what would you like to say?
What if it was accidental? Because, I mean, with live streams, it's kind of hard, especially with various connections of people and everything.
See, here's the thing. In that regard, if you know someone's talking, just keep your mouth shut. It's that simple. If you know someone's talking, just keep your mouth shut. And I'm not saying that to be a dick. It's literally a case of if your internet connection is going out, but you know someone was talking, stay quiet. Once your internet connection is good and you can come back in, if they're still talking, stay quiet. But if they're not talking and there's that moment where there's pure silence, and you see us moving, see us futzing with figures, that's a clear cue. Hey, it's safe for me to talk. Either that, or message anybody that's in charge, either me directly or somebody else on the show, and be like, "Hey, is somebody still talking? My internet connection went out." It's that courtesy thing. That's all it is. Like, I realize I got a little aggressive with you, and I apologize. I've been noticing that's been getting a lot worse, and it's been grinding my fucking gears. I want everybody that comes onto my show to have fun. I want everybody to be able to speak their minds and share their opinions. I want that more than anything. But if we keep doing that shit, how do we make that fucking point clear?
Okay, follow-up question. Not only just in regards to, like, connection issues, what about people on the panel who are on the spectrum and have, like, that impulse of, like, accidentally cutting someone off? Because that can't really be helped.
Here's the thing. We have a private chat for a reason.
Okay.
If it's going to help, put what you were going to talk about in that private chat. I got no problem with you guys doing that. Especially if it helps you keep your thoughts in check. Because under no circumstance am I going to let anybody interrupt somebody anymore. I mean, just recently, when I was trying to have a conversation with a couple of my family members, I kept getting cut off, and I felt my blood boiling because of it. Because no one will let me fucking speak my piece. I understand how that feels. I don't want anybody else to feel that. But if you're going to come onto my show, you're going to respect each other. Have enough decency for each other to let everyone speak. That is it. Any more questions from anybody?
I think all mine are answered.
I have an unrelated question. Why the fuck did you guys forget I was dead?
We were addressing it the whole time. You were dead. Also,
even before you were talking about the issue that you were bringing up, I'm just over here like, well, in the afterlife, I'm thinking to myself, what is someone going to revive me?
We tried. Your stubborn ass spirit wouldn't rise.
I was paying attention. Nobody said a thing, so I'm like, you know what?
Also,
I'll just get better on my own.
Bees, respectfully, as your friend, I don't think it's the time.
Yeah.
Now,
anyway.
Woody, do you have anything you want to say on the matter?
No, I think that's the whole point. You've said everything you can. TFA has asked some questions. The only thing I was going to say is, obviously, with being on mobile internet, and talking internationally, there is a bit of a delay. So, I'm sort of like a little bit behind you, if you know what I mean. So what I'm trying to say is, if it sounds like I'm trying to cut you off, it's not, because you may have finished speak. You get what I mean, don't you?
Yeah, no. I see what you're saying, and like, I'm not desensitized to that. I'm just trying to make the point clear that no one is allowed to cut each other off anymore, especially when you know for a fact you can help yourself. If it's something if something happened that clearly was completely out of your control, I get it. I'm not going to be happy with it on a personal level, but I get it. So that being said, JJ!
Oh, actually, I wanted to say.
Yes, I am here.
So,
Yep.
Excuse me.
Go ahead, TFA.
Just one last thing, for clarification's sake. To anyone who's watching this, and when I brought up the fact of being on the spectrum, I ain't talking about the internet. I'm talking about people with autism, ADHD, neurodivergent, or mental disorders, basically. I wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
And that's fine. Now, JJ, do you have any questions? Do you feel like you need to say, BC, you're a fucking asshole for saying that?
No, but I definitely agree with what you were trying to say about there are people who tend to talk over each other, and that actually has been happening a lot in my streams, and I feel like I need to learn to stop that. Because every time I try to talk, like, one person keeps talking, and I can't even say my piece anymore. Like, really? You talk over me? So.
Hey, JJ, if I may, if you want me to, this is entirely your decision, but if you want me to, I could come in and I can start regulating that. Where if it starts happening, I can shut that shit down and be like, hey, he gave me permission to do this. Y'all keep talking over each other. You need to shut up and let JJ speak. Obviously, I'm not going to be super rude about it, but you get my point. Like, if you want me to come in and advocate like that, I'll be more than happy to do so.
I'll consider it, yeah.
Okay. Now, in regards to Mebius here, you've already seen a few of my outbursts, my boy.
BC scary when he angry.
What did you say?
Can I just say?
I said BC scary when he angry.
We literally, I'm not joking when I say this, BC had to apologize to Mebius personally for scaring him that one time.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Did you?
Don't remind me.
When was that?
When I decided to be a village idiot.
It was JJ. It was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Okay,
Yeah.
No. He asked. He has a right to know. So
I was just making a joke.
JJ, basically, there was a time where Bees was very much against us and was willing to make himself look like an absolute buffoon for for reasons that I'm not going to go into live on the air, because that's a private thing. That's a private matter, and I'm like, he's already made it abundantly clear he would rather not talk about it live on the air, and I 100% agree with him. We should not be talking about it here. But to give you clarity, he chose to be the village idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Woody and Savage both saw him in the comment section as well. Like, obviously all three of us saw what he was saying. the bulk of what he was saying was directed at me.
Okay.
So I took that a little personally. I started pacing around my apartment, going, "What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do?" And I finally I sat down, and like when my camera turned on, you noticed, like everybody who saw that episode noticed how quickly my facial expression and my overall tone just completely changed. Where I went from being that happy-go-lucky BC that I usually am to, for lack of a better term, and I apologize for any PTSD this may incur on you, Papa BC came out.
Damn.
And when I took that as an opportunity where I was like, okay, so you guys answered the question, right? Okay. And then I just went the fuck off. And when I went off, I was legitimately screaming at the top of my lungs.
Oh yeah.
And I was very, very angry. Now, let me make this abundantly clear. When that happened, I spoke strictly out of anger.
Okay.
You see us now? We're good now. The only reason why I'm explaining this is because you asked. We worked it out, and everything is fine now. So under no circumstance should anybody be giving him any shit about it. Period. Anybody gives him any shit, you will have me to deal with. Do you understand?
Yep.
I appreciate that.
Case in point. I genuinely terrified him that night.
Hey,
And there was
I appreciate it.
Let me say this real quick. There's one thing that I genuinely hate doing, and it's getting angry on any stream that I'm on. But when I'm forced to address something in an angry matter, it genuinely bugs me, for lack of a better term. I don't want you guys to be genuinely terrified of me. I've had literal groups who had the audacity to talk a bunch of shit about me, where when I walked into that room and I overheard it all, I pointed each and every one of them out right when class started. And the goal was to make them terrified of me. I made everyone in that classroom, including the teacher, terrified of me.
Damn.
So if that teacher, for whatever reason, is watching this show, I apologize. That wasn't right. And I am very sorry. But with that being said, there should never, under any circumstance, be a case where that side of me needs to come out. So if it came out, you fucking deserved it in some way, shape, or form. But it does not mean that I'm going to like doing it. Just flat out.
Mm-hmm.
I only do it if I fucking need to.
Yep. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm as happy and go lucky as anybody else. And like Meebia said, he likes Fun BC. He can get along with Fun BC. Everybody gets along with Fun BC. But the moment Papa BC comes out, you need to run for them fucking hills and hope and pray that you're not the fucking target.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
You're not.
I'm sorry, you said that really fucking quick and it caught me off guard.
No, I'm just saying.
I wouldn't even
I've
want to
seen
mess
you
with
when you're
puppies.
angry, and I don't like you when you're angry. You need to have a Snickers.
I can get along with Fun BC. Fun BC is my boy. He's my man. But Papa BC, I wouldn't even want to mess with that dude. So Papa, you know what Papa BC would do to me? He would just smack my butt.
Everybody stop. Beast, what?
Okay, I want to add to the Snickers joke there. Like, Angry BC, just imagine Gilbert Gottfried on a fucking rampage, and then like BC, have a Snickers. Like, why? Like, because you tend to get very unhinged when you're hungry. Is it better? Back to normal. Better. And one other thing I wanted to mention was, while we established we don't want to go into detail about that incident, I will admit that as I was watching the whole, watching BC just unleash like his wrath of hell, I was just laughing my ass off the whole time. And it's back in this past April when I just didn't find it funny anymore. In fact, like all the anger and hatred I felt towards the crew, it was gone, and it was replaced completely by regret.
That was this year?
Yeah. And
I kind of helped around that time because
mm-hmm.
I don't like seeing friends get a rift between each other. That ain't how the world should be.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
I feel like this, like, just all that shit. I feel like we all agree that this, like, all the shit, like, just the way I view the crew was instigated by my now ex-girlfriend, which I guess this is an autism thing, but I actually remember exactly a year ago today, I broke up with Katie. At the time, I felt like that was like hang on, I'm almost done. I felt like that was like one of the biggest mistakes I'd ever made because like I was just like having regrets on the matter afterwards, but now I feel like it's one of the best life choices that I ever fucking made. Anyway, yes, BC.
No names.
Oh. Well,
courtesy and respect thing, no names.
Ah, right. Well, she was on the stream with us a couple of times before, so I figured everybody would know who, like, longtime viewers would have known who I was talking about anyway.
Mm.
But yeah, I'm glad I'm not with her anymore.
And you know what? We're glad to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you made the right choice, Bees. Because there's always better people for you, you know.
In terms of friendship, yes. In terms of relationships, I steer clear of relationships.
Excuse me.
I'm cool.
No, I burped. I didn't know if you caught that or not.
Oh, okay.
Right.
But yeah, I'm quite happy and content with being single. Peaceful. It's a peaceful life.
Mebius, trust us. You didn't want to. Just trust us, homeboy.
I never knew her, and I don't want to know her at all.
Let me put it to you guys this way. The only other females that are allowed to be in this show under any circumstance, whether they be strictly voice or actually a part of the show, is Additress and Mrs. BC. You want to know why? Because they won't fuck with us like that.
TF Additress is an angel. Also, thank you for saying her name right. I had people constantly trying to just say Addictress, and it's like, no.
That sounds
not funny at all.
That just sounds...
I
Sure,
know.
yes.
I'm not... You know what? No, I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say it.
You don't have to. I'm already picking it up in your brain.
Yeah, I
You
think I
should-
think the same thing as you guys.
That being said, at the end of the day, I want the fact that Bees and TFA being here, I want that to prove something absolutely huge.
Mm-hmm.
That regardless of how many spats we may have in the Scrapyard community, you're fucking welcome with us if you are willing to be one of us, you're fucking welcome here. If you are a Transformers nerd, if you are a Power Rangers nerd, if you're into video games, watching movies, talking about these things in video format, writing scripts, pitching ideas, you belong here in the Scrapyard community. I don't care what's going on with you. Whether you are officially a part of the Discord server, whether you just talk to us on a regular basis and just really don't interact with us outside of a few online. Thank you, Mebius. We are family. That is the point to the Scrapyard community. And the Scrapyard community, we literally live by a motto that will always be repeated any time. So regardless of how many issues any one of us may have with each other, at the end of the day, if you are a part of the Scrapyard community, guess what? You are a part of this family. Dinner's at 6.
Is it optional?
No, it is not optional. You are chained to us for the rest of your life, and you are not allowed to leave. You are a precious little bitch boy.
Well, fuck.
Oh my god.
I always wanted a family.
Well,
But that's it. Again, like, just real quick, though. Look, I know that we have a tendency to be a bit intense. Don't let my rage or Savage's brutality or Solo's infinite wisdom, don't let any of that make you feel intimidated by us. If you, like, I'm willing to go as far as to say, if you have pretty much been on any episodes with us, whether it's just for a couple minutes or an entire string of episodes, guess what? In my eyes, you're a part of the community. You're one of us. And we take issues that you may be having with anything. We take that shit serious. And, like, I'm just gonna say it. I'm willing to go to war for anybody that's in this fucking panel right now. I'm more than willing to do it. Just do not let us completely be glossed over just because you think Woody is where I don't even know where I was going with that. Point is, if for whatever reason something about Woody just never roasts you the right way, or you don't like the fact that Savage roasts everybody all the time, or if I genuinely terrify you, do not let that steer you away. We are a community here.
Look, we all know I'm a British idiot in ill-fitting pajamas.
What he said. Because at the end of the day, for those of us who do know what the motto is, say it with me.
One of us.
We stand together.
we stand together.
We stand together.
The Scrapyard community will always stand together, and we will always step up when we are needed.
One of us. One of us. Google gobble. Google gobble. One of us.
JJ here is one of the living pieces of proof towards that. He can testify I was 1,000% ready to go to war with somebody, all because they chose to fuck with him.
Yeah.
I was beyond ready to go to war.
You did the same thing with me back in the day.
Google gobble.
Oh, I'll do it again. Make no motherfucking mistake. I'll do it again.
Oh, we-oh. We-oh. Oh, we-oh. Sorry.
I know you're doing the Wizard of Oz, but I can't help but think of the parody version where it's like Oreo, Oreo,
No, I was doing more the Mr. Burns one. All we own,
or that.
we own. All we own, we own.
So with that being said, let's get back to the shenanigans that is the after party.
Woo, shenanigans.
What would that whole other segment be? A PSA?
We've had. Hang on. Was that our contractually obligated PSA moment? Oh.
Wait, we have that too. God, I missed out on a lot of this.
Don't worry about it. It's how we get the YouTube money. But, you know, whether or not we'll actually get the YouTube money this time.
Oh.
Oh, no. Well, we'll get YouTube money this time. Savage isn't here.
Speaking of, where is he?
JJ, you can throw hands now. I don't think he knows what I meant by that. You are now free to beat the tar out of Solo.
Damn it! What did I do this time? What did I do this time?
Everything.
He's actually doing it.
I see.
Hey, quit trying to steal my stick.
Hey, I'm throwing paper at you, okay? Boom, 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 boom.
Also, real quick. Dude, what are you wearing? Mittens or something? Anyway, real quick. Who's going to be doing the Savage's little Imperial March bit? Is it going to be my default
It's just perfect. Oh boy. Anyway, I do have some good news. So I am finally ordering Studio Series 102 Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime.
Hold on.
Yay!
Hold on. Hold the fucking phone. Stop the presses. You mean to tell me I got something before you?
Don't
I
worry,
don't
he's
know
still.
what mine is.
Oh, never
did.
mind. Both of us.
You
got
did.
something. Actually,
You
no.
did, TFA.
Bees too.
You did.
I don't know what I'm
worry.
giving mine.
All right. Target.
Finally, ordering that. I don't know why it took me so long to get him, but I'm ordering him along with Earthspark Deluxe Class Grimlock, so I can have another part of Mandroid.
Oh, you lucky motherfucker! I want Grimlock and Nightshade so bad.
Sadly, Nightshade is out of stock in my country. They were
sucks.
in stock at once, but I'm pretty sure they will stock Nightshade soon.
I just want them to be available soon. I don't know why the fuck they're waiting. We've been dealing with Wave 2 of Deluxes with Optimus and Shockwave for the last couple of months.
Now, I will say this. I am passing on Shockwave and Starscream. I don't really care about the alternate arm. I just don't care.
I don't think it's alternate. I think it's just the Nova Storm arm.
Yeah, but that's inaccurate, so I'm just gonna... and I already have Cyberverse
Bees,
Shockwave.
be
and
careful. Don't dox yourself.
Don't worry, my payment information is
Yeah.
not on screen.
I wanna...
Can I
Are we-
can I just say I put my pre-orders in this
Are we
week.
already?
Oh, sorry.
Are we on the after party?
Yeah, we're on the after party.
Okay, good, because I want to do a little bit of a rant here.
What are everyone's thoughts on Missing Link? We'll get to that in a second.
Well, can I just say about Missing Link? I put my pre-orders in for CO1 and CO2 this week.
I put in.
Everybody mute up.
Okay.
All right. Hasbro, if you're listening, why the heck did you make Studio Series Hiron 2 Optimus Prime a freaking Target exclusive? You know, a lot of us don't live in the U.S., means myself included. I don't even live in the U.S., and yet my country doesn't even have Targets. I mean, sure, my country sells these Target exclusives. Fine, they can sell them, but seriously, making Prime a Target exclusive was a bad move, a bad decision on your part. I can get it with Leadfoot because he has the Target logo on him, but does Prime have a Target logo on him? No, it doesn't make sense to be a Target exclusive. No, he should have been a mainstream figure, like with the normal Studio Series packaging, like the other Rise of Beast goodness. Why him and only him is a Target exclusive? That just and a lot of people, it's been war. Okay, it has been a literal war of people finding this Prime, and yet they can't find him because the Targets just refuse to stock him up, and they refuse to restock him. And I'm like, okay, Hasbro, you just really, you really need to think about your choices here, your decisions here. Like, bruh, he shouldn't have been a Target exclusive. He doesn't need to be a Target exclusive. Literally doesn't need to be. I don't get it. I don't understand. And I feel like the Buzzley Bumblebee subline is like a bit like an afterthought because they call the line Buzzley Bumblebee, and yet they're just bringing some random characters into the line. I mean, no, and I'm like, make the line just exclusive to Bumblebee only. Like Toe line in the Buzzley Bumblebee line just doesn't make sense. Prime in the Buzzley Bumblebee line doesn't make sense. It just you see, I have to like wait like so many months just to get this Prime, and him being a Target exclusive is just stupid. And honestly, Hasbro needs to rethink their decisions. Okay, that is my thing. It's just
There's actually a reason.
Not gonna lie, I was fully expecting you to cuss.
Yeah, and I think the reason why, as I was saying in the chat, I think the reason why Revenge of the Fallen, Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime is a Target exclusive because he, much like the Revenge of the Fallen Studio Series Bumblebee figure, they both debuted in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee line, which is a Target exclusive subline. So I think it would stand to reason that he would eventually down the line get a widely available mass retail release in standard Studio Series packaging instead of the yellow.
But
See,
they
I
didn't do that.
kind of want to piggyback off that because they did establish the reason why Prime is in Buzzworthy as opposed to a mainline release.
Okay, but why?
Also, if it was true about the Target exclusive stuff getting like mainline stuff with like the proper packaging, we would have got Nest, Bone Crusher, and Ratchet in regular Studio Series packaging by now.
Right.
So, like, not to be like a actually type guy. I'm just saying because Hasbro has officially said the reason why they put Prime in Buzzworthy is because Rise of the Beast kind of fucked up the entire order. Actually, no, it wasn't Rise of the Beast. It was the Gamer Edition stuff. It fucked up the entire lineup of stuff that they had released or planned for release for Studio Series, and there wasn't enough room to throw in a third Voyager. So that's why Rhinox and Megatron are part of Wave 22.
21, not 22.
No, I'm pretty sure it's 22.
No, 22 is the Mirage and Nightbird wave.
I saw a sighting thing on TFW that said that Rhinox and Megatron are 22.
No, the Wave 21.
Well, either way.
The Wave 19 is the Rise to Beast all-in wave. Wave 20
Right.
is the Start of Gamer Edition. Then Wave 21 is Rhinox and Megatron and Brawn and Cliffjumper.
I have a question for you, TFA.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, what was the reason then that that Crash Optimus Prime that was supposed to be Rise of the Beast got pushed to Cyberverse?
Probably leftover stock from Cyberverse that wasn't selling, so they thought, hey, let's put it in Rise of the Beast packaging and hope it'll sell better.
But they said it was. But the listing said that Crash Optimus Prime was supposed to be for Rise of the Beasts initially, and then all of a sudden, it turned up in Cyberverse packaging.
Oh, you meant the other way. Oh, computer errors, I guess. Testing the waters. I don't really know there, but with that Rise of the Beast Prime, they specifically said because of the Gamer Edition and the Rise of the Beast full wave of Studio Series, Prime wasn't able to fit. And I don't think we knew the Voyagers for Wave 22, because so far we only know Nightbird, Mirage, and Optimus Primal as leaders, at least.
BC has a point.
Yeah.
So I feel like a new segment needs to be added to the show as a whole. And I feel like Woody here already knows where I'm going with this. But I'm going to call this new segment of the show BC's Hot Take.
Oh, okay.
Now, what will be tonight's hot take? I'm glad you asked. My hot take is on the recently released and just everybody can't seem to shut the hell up about this. Gamer Edition Megatron.
Oh,
Yeah.
didn't I was gonna say? Didn't JJ mention this last week, especially with the knees?
Yeah, I did.
My hot take with this actually has nothing to do with the knees, because at least the knees are fixable. My hot take is this lump of plastic right here.
Oh,
I know
okay.
some people are more than okay with the sculpts and all that, which, fine, whatever. My beef with this, quite simply,
It's the club.
he shouldn't be holding it down here. He should be holding it right here.
Ah. That's no wonder why he holds it so weird.
I'm just happy he got the damn thing.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. I'm happy he got it too. But here's the thing.
And the way he.
Why couldn't he have opening hands? With the way this thing transforms and the way everything is, I'm sorry, I don't see how there wasn't enough room in the budget for a fucking pin in there to open the hands.
And we've gotten Voyagers before with opening and closing hands like Jaxus.
Yeah, we've had it before, so I don't see why this couldn't have it.
Tarn
also had it.
Oh yeah.
Oddmon also had
Of
it.
course, I'm the one who mentions Tarn.
Yeah.
That was
So-
probably. Sorry, I was going to say.
See,
there's
as
probably
much as I would
something-
love to get Planet X Pluto, 1, he's fragile. 2, he's the FOC design, not the WFC design. And 3, fuck that price.
What's the price
It's,
for Pluto?
Planet-
Like 124?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't think that thing is worth $120.
Now,
How
since
big?
we got-
How big is Pluto again?
I think Voyager?
That Planet X Pluto is
Or like Leader?
So, BC. Now that we got the Gamer Edition Wolver Cybertron design from Megatron,
so.
and he Voyager class.
Like, and, don't get me wrong. Just because I have an issue with the fact that he doesn't have opening hands does not mean I hate this figure. I don't. I think he's awesome.
People are just overthinking it.
he should have been able to hold that mace better.
Yeah,
He should have been able to hold that in a more natural way.
I
The
agree.
way he holds it literally looks stupid.
It's weird. Yeah,
And
it's
it's
very
like, I'm going to specify real quick. That's a me thing.
That's a you thing.
It's a me thing. I'm more than happy to admit that that's literally just a me thing. But as far as in regards to that whole me thing, I wanted him to have opening hands, and the fact that he doesn't, it genuinely bugs the shit out of me. But
I
I'm
have a
willing to let it go.
question, BC. Now we've actually had the upgrade kit for Studio Series Gamer Prime. Do you think we'll probably see a
Yes.
similar upgrade kit for Megatron?
Yes, I full well expect it to happen.
They've like, I'm surprised that DNA Design have done like upgrade kits for almost every Studio Series figure that has been released.
Now,
Uh,
I'll give you guys another hot take, if you're willing to hear it.
I think
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah,
Give it to us. Give it to us.
excuse me.
TFA has a point first, DC.
Go on.
It's very minor, but maybe it'll ease your pain about the way he holds the mace. That's how he holds it in the game.
Yeah, like
Really?
maybe they're
I'm not kidding. The opening cinematic, I'm watching it because I plan on doing another photo edit. He holds it like that. That thing is just that massive.
Really? Wait a minute.
so like
Okay,
either give him
decent.
some new hands. So either give him some new hands or give him a new mace.
I think the hands might have made it look better, but like the way he's holding that mace is fucking massive. It's like almost as big as him.
Anyways, so where I stand, quite simply,
Yeah, he does hold it like that.
I'm only going to reiterate it one more time. I wish he could have held this thing better. I don't care if the trailer or whatever was showing him holding it like that. We should have been given the option because that looks stupid.
That's fair.
Now, hot take number 2. Another one that I'm pretty sure Woody already knows where I'm going with this. Who
Okay.
here remembers Siege Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime?
I do, but I don't have him though. But I do.
I have it.
Reviews.
I remember.
What if I told you that's not Cybertron Optimus Prime and it never was meant to be?
I'd be like, oh, but how, BC? How? This is
Say that
supposed to
again
be.
because you got cut off like that. Can you say it again? Because my internet is a bit weak. So.
Oh, yeah, sure. So if I were to tell you that that's actually not Cybertron Optimus Prime and it was never meant to be, how would you feel?
You fucking liar. You full of fucking bullshit.
Honestly, I wouldn't be affected because I honestly don't really care about that figure.
I don't
First things
BC.
first.
Hang on. Take that filthy lie out of your goddamn mouth.
Woody?
Look, my next question is, explain yourself, BC.
I haven't fully answered VC's question yet.
Yeah, that's what I said. Answer the god and explain.
No, I think JJ meant he never answered it fully.
I never answered it fully, and yet you just
Yeah,
talked over.
that's-
Oh,
So don't make it happen again, Woody, please. Thank you.
I do apologize. JJ.
Wait for me to finish, and then you can say your piece, okay? That's my
Okay,
thing.
I do apologize. I apologize.
Thank you.
There it goes.
All right. So now, can you ask your question again, BC? I want to answer.
What
it
if I told you that Siege Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime is not supposed to be Cybertron Optimus Prime, and it never was meant to be?
Who is he supposed to be?
Not supposed to be Cybertron Optimus Prime. Then you were asking how I feel about it?
Yes.
Okay. Honestly, I wouldn't even care because that mold really doesn't even fit the character. And seeing now that in the Q&A session from SDCC that we are getting a new Cybertron Optimus Prime in the future, I'm not really affected.
Wait, we actually are going to get a new Cybertron Prime?
Yes, it is a possibility.
It's strictly just a possibility. Do not get your hopes up.
Right.
Oh, what's
still.
it?
Take it with a grain of salt, but it may happen because since now we had Armada Prime and a Commander class price point, they might do the same thing with Cybertron Prime.
I hope so.
Oh.
Because that's my favorite Unicron Trilogy Optimus Prime design.
Wasn't that the one that turned up in the, what was it, Walmart or Target listings recently?
I think.
No.
Oh no, you're thinking Vector Prime.
Oh yeah, those some listings got leaked.
Yeah, Vector Prime is not Target exclusive. He is a mainstream figure, so.
Better not be a fucking Target exclusive. I'd lose my goddamn shit.
Well, I managed to snag you that Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime. So if I'm lucky, if I can procure two, if he ends up being a Target exclusive, I can send one your way.
I've not been
So-
disappointed with your service and assistance, so
Yeah.
I will happily take you up on that.
So BC, I've got to ask.
Question BC.
So we're
because,
only saying
there
that the seed.
Let me finish.
Oh, I thought you'd finished.
Yeah, same.
No, not yet. Not yet. Because, that's basically my main answer to your question, BC, since, there is a possibility of us getting a new Cybertron Prime along with Leo Breaker and Wing Saber in the Legacy line. So that's gonna be a hit, a banger.
Sorry, don't mind me. I'm dying.
So BC, just so I'm understanding this point, you're saying that Siege Galaxy Prime is not Cybertron Prime because we're getting one.
No.
Go on then.
Here is where I make my closing argument. Siege Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime is not meant to be Cybertron Optimus. And the reason why is because of that core robot. That core robot is IDW 2.0 Orion Pax. He literally just wears he wears an entire upgrade set of armor that makes him look like Cybertron Prime.
That makes sense.
Evidence?
That makes sense.
The evidence is literally on the core robot. Because that core robot looks dead to rights like how he looks in the comics.
And there was a comic book cover with that design.
Okay.
Exactly. Now, whether or not he actually did don that armor in the comics, I don't know.
I can tell you,
Does he?
he didn't.
He didn't?
Nope. Not even once.
So at that point, everybody is losing their minds over the fact that they're claiming it's supposed to be Cybertron Prime. No, it's not, and it never was meant to be. It's you guys consistently jumping to conclusions. So therefore, Galaxy Upgrade Optimus Prime is not a shit toy just because it doesn't fit your narrative. If you dislike it because, for whatever reason, the proportions don't look right to you, you're fair, you're valid. If you don't like it simply just because you really dislike the overall look and feel of it, you're fair, you're valid. But to all of you whiny ass, entitled little UT bitches that threw a fit because it was not Cybertron Prime or not what I wanted. Go in the corner. Go in the corner right now.
Go in the corner and think about your life.
Go in the corner and think about every single life decision that you ever made and then immediately live to fucking regret it. Because if Papa BC has to come out and whoop your ass, belt in hand, I will do so.
Oh, God.
Go hug your Energon Prime plushie from that one episode of Energon.
The thing is, though, BC, I think that level of argument stems from the fact he's called Galaxy Prime, and Galaxy Force is the Japanese name for Cybertron.
Galaxy Upgrade.
That is such a dumb argument. It holds no weight. It holds absolutely no fucking weight.
BC, I feel your pain. I do. I'm already in your mind. I can feel we're linked like that, and I agree. Woody, why would you say something like that?
I'll handle this.
BC, let me explain myself. And TFA, let me explain myself. I wasn't saying that this was my argument. I was saying the most common argument, counter-argument to what BC was claiming, right, is the fact it was called Galaxy Prime. And Galaxy Force, Galaxy Convoy, it makes sense, right?
No.
Whereas BC...
Galaxy Convoy. No.
Yeah, and the figure is called Galaxy Upgrade Prime, meaning that maybe the armor is called Galaxy Armor. So
Yeah.
I think that makes sense. I mean, what BC is saying, it makes sense because that's not intended to be Cybertron Optimus Prime. It's just Orion Pax.
Just
Mitts on some armor, some Galaxy armor.
The whole point to this hot take, quite simply, is I refuse to take a toy when I do not understand the toy's intention. When you come to terms with the fact that it's not supposed to be Cybertron Optimus Prime, it's supposed to be what could have happened in the comic books at that time, all of a sudden, that toy holds a lot more weight.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
don't
since
fully
that never
agree.
happened in the comic books, we can't sit there and say, oh, well, shit. That's why the toy was released. Okay, that makes sense.
I think that is like, I think for me, I think Hasbro could have just used Comic Universe for that. So
No.
Yeah,
it's
to be
confusing.
if they'd have actually reissued it now in the IDW verse, like Cascade and such, I think it would probably make a lot more sense.
yeah.
it would.
Now I will say this: that toy up there that Beast has, it looks cool. It's a nice homage to Cybertron Optimus Prime. Homage.
Yes.
Hey, homage. It's not supposed to be 100% Cybertron Optimus Prime because the inner robot doesn't look like Cybertron Prime. Nowhere near.
Mm-hmm.
And that being said, I only passed on this toy because I didn't really need it in my life. Wasn't really important to me. Like I said, Optimus Prime is my favorite character, but yet that's the toy that I passed on.
Mm-hmm.
And I only passed on it because I'm hoping for a brand new cartoon accurate Cybertron Optimus Prime with a better looking inner robot and a better looking super mode.
Calling
Yeah,
that could be Commander Class.
And if that happens in Commander Class, I'll buy it.
Well, given the fact that Legacy Armada is selling well, that raises the bar and hope for Energon and Cybertron getting releases further down the line.
Yeah. And
I mean, we
Energon
can all-
Megatron is getting a figure. He's getting a figure in the Legacy line, albeit it's a core class. For some reason, I don't know why, but I'm willing to buy that core class Energon Megatron because I want to see how it works.
I mean, we can all agree on one thing in regards to Cybertron Prime.
Mm-hmm.
Anything's better than Commander of Stars.
You know what?
Oh,
I'm kind of with him. I'm with him on this because I have the figure. If the fucking ratchet joints weren't known to explode, which the only ratchet joints on mine that just went are the ratchet joints in the wings. But like, there's still just enough friction where they stay put. And the biggest issue is that I've just about all of his fucking fingers have basically he's been whooshy finger held. So I've had to replace all of his fucking fingers. I think there's only one, maybe two fingers I haven't replaced yet.
I like to point out that it's kind of hilarious that Cybertron, the third-party Cybertron Prime, included a Cyber Key with an Autobot logo on it.
They're playing with fire there.
Yeah, that key had an Autobot logo on it, and it was so risky on the third-party company's part. It's like they want to live dangerously.
yeah.
So, Transforming Element or Transforming Rollout, the company that made Commander of Stars, a whole bunch of new positions have opened. So if you want to apply,
MGO bought it, and his copy was pretty good. So,
yeah, I believe he was actually given like an early sample. A review sample, yes, and the reviewers who've had gotten one, their copies were perfectly fine. It wasn't the official final product, but it was perfectly fine. There were no issues. They the fingers didn't get Thanos. None of the ratchet joints were fucked up. It's perfectly fine. So it gave us all hope until it released. Then reviewers who didn't get a review sample got it, and they're like, mine's broken. The fingers are all broken, and the ratchet joints all whoosh.
That's just not great at all.
And I think it's their second figure too.
I think
that
really sums up my point of not getting third-party figures at all, because you don't want to break minds. So, I mean, I do have
break a Hasbro figure and still.
Sorry. I have experience with third-party figures, like a few of them, and none of them have broken so far. Well, except for my Magic Square, my Mech Fans Toys Octane or something, or Mechanic Studios Octane. That Octane, there were some tabs that broke off, but it still worked. It still could hold together. Although I will not touch that figure a lot. And with Hasbro figures that can break on you, like for example my Studio Series Carmel Shadow that broke on me, I actually did kind of fixed it with some glue tack, and she still could hold together, so I'm not that upset. Yeah. And I am willing to fix my figures even though like I break them like accidentally. So
I mean, accidents do happen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing with my Studio Series Jetfire also. With the upgrade kit, some tabs were a bit too tight, and it legitimately made me break them at the next section.
Thanks.
I don't really care though, because I'm gonna leave him in combined mode like most of the time. I won't even transform him back into jet mode. I mean, when I transform him back to jet mode, he still could hold together well because the landing gear does hold it together. So.
And everyone made a big fuss when Hasbro started selling corpses of Optimus and Ironhide and Prowl. Jetfire was the original.
Oh my god.
It's so funny that people react to that way.
Also, follow-up comment in regards to that Galaxy Upgrade Prime, and I kind of hate myself for making this connection. That's Orion Pax if he was a Power Ranger and got his first Battleizer.
Actually, hey,
I'm
TFA,
not wrong.
TFA, he took his IQ from Ultra Magnus, who wore a freaking corpse.
Yeah.
One thing I want to bring up when we were mentioning Studio Series Jetfire and the upgrade kit. God, Studio Series Jetfire was such a notorious shelf warmer. He and his wave mate, Dark of the Moon Megatron. So I was like, you know what? Let's get a second one because when I get Optimus, I'm gonna have one Jetfire to display by himself as himself, and I'll display. In fact, I managed to get 2 Optimus Primes, one to display as himself, and another one to display combined with the extra Jetfire. And when I got the upgrade kit, oh my god, the I can't remember what it was that had broken. Something. I think it was like a part that I was like the part that you had to remove and replace with the part from the upgrade kit that broke. And I'm like, oh god. Fortunately, it's just a piece that you didn't need that was being replaced by the upgrade kit.
Oh, just speaking of Jetfire, I've got his dad's action figure.
Morty.
You got his what? Oh, you got his dad.
My father, he was the wheel.
My father.
You know what he
Why was
transformed into? Nothing. But he did so with honor. Damn it.
Parents.
Yeah.
Morty.
Yes.
You know, it was kind of hilarious.
Oh, no, he did. Oh, he's alive.
I found it funny when Jetfire mentioned his father and mother because Transformers don't even have parents at all.
That's a lie. Hound has a dad.
A Hound has a dad?
In The Last Night, yes, that movie. Whenever Cade was calling Tessa, you hear Hound make a comment and say, "Oh, my father never called me."
What? Who was his father then?
No one knows. He just has a dad.
Wow.
I was going to say, so this week I have ordered 3 Transformers. I'm waiting for the 4th to drop, and my orders will be complete.
Nice. Very nice.
The 3 I've ordered so far are Magic Square, Missing Link, CO1, and CO2.
CO2, but you exhale CO2.
And I've also pre-ordered the JAXA Optimus Prime.
All right, so
The next
long enough.
the next pre-order I've got is the Stranger Things one that I'm waiting on. Oh, BC. What does BC want?
Yes.
BC has a.
The man
BC's
wants
wait.
to speak.
He wants to talk. Let him talk.
I'm going to be bringing the show to a close. So thank you everybody for tuning in, those who watched, and obviously thank you to the cast. I appreciate you guys. If there's anything else you guys need to ask, now's the time.
Hey, BC, what are we going to talk about next week?
I'm glad you asked. So, next week, we're actually going to be bringing up something very, very specific that I think is a really, really good idea.
Okay.
How we would rank all of the different designs that a very specific Transformers character has had over the years.
Ooh. Ooh.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot of thought-provoking stuff next week. So look forward to that episode next week. Anybody else?
I'd like to make a request in regards to that episode.
Go on.
Absolutely no reference of the name Pablo in regards to Rise of the Beast Wheeljack.
You mean Pablo?
That's what I just said.
Shut up.
If I am present, I don't want to hear that name. I don't know why people think that's funny. I think it's stupid.
I think it's because of the obvious TV Pablo written on the side of
I
his.
get it, but at the same time, it's just like it's Wheeljack. Just call him Wheeljack. It ain't gonna kill your soul. It's
No,
not the
it's
first
not
time a
Wheel-
character. It's not the
Okay.
first time a character got like completely redesigned and got a new name.
I've been BC.
I've been
I was-
Solo Jans.
I've been Flaming Bees.
I've been
I've been
TFA
JJ
1024. Okay,
Hush!
I can go last. It's fine. I've been TFA 1024, the TF Addict.
I've been JJ Prime.
We'll catch you guys next week.
Peace!